What if the most powerful truth about fame isn't about who shines the brightest, but about who quietly helped switch the lights on in the first place? In the past 24 hours, Japanese commentary outlets have reportedly reopened an old chapter, one that many fans believed was best left untouched. And the headline is bold: Wang Yibo needed Zhan. But before anyone gets defensive, here's the twist. This isn't a story about weakness. It's a story about timing, chemistry, and the kind of partnership that can accelerate a career in ways talent alone sometimes cannot. Stay with me, because this conversation is bigger than fandom. It's about how stars are made and why some moments leave a footprint that never truly fades. What Japanese commentary appears to be doing here is not issuing a verdict, but reframing a memory. The phrase, Wang Yibo needed Zhan, is presented less as a judgment about ability and more as a way of describing how entertainment momentum works when it crosses borders. In this telling, the partnership is treated as a formative chapter, a moment when audiences didn't merely observe two rising actors, but emotionally invested in a dynamic that felt unusually complete. The more nuanced suggestion is that early career breakthroughs are rarely powered by one person alone. They are often sparked by the right ecosystem, the right story, the right co-stars, the right public mood, and the right cultural timing. Japanese media, in this narrative, is asking viewers to recognize that a launch moment can be shared. Not because either individual lacks talent, but because talent often becomes visible fastest when it is contrasted, balanced, and amplified through another presence on screen. Importantly, the framing also implies respect for trajectory. It does not insist that one artist made the other. Instead, it argues that certain collaborations open doors that remain open for years. New audiences become curious, the industry becomes attentive, and an actor's image crystallizes in the public imagination. In that sense, the word needed is being used as shorthand for something more sophisticated, a catalyst, a turning point, and a shared imprint that helped the world notice what was already there. Some pairings do not simply add popularity, they multiply it. The catalyst effect happens when two performers bring different strengths that interact like opposing currents, creating tension, warmth, contrast, and emotional rhythm. Audiences may not be able to explain it technically, but they feel it instantly. And once a viewer feels something, they remember it, re-watch it, recommend it, and build community around it. That is how a project becomes more than content. It becomes a moment. In the context of this story, the pairing is described as a kind of narrative architecture. One presence can heighten softness, the other can sharpen intensity. One can pull the audience towards vulnerability, the other anchors the scene with restraint. When these energies meet, the characters appear more three-dimensional, and the story gains a pulse that travels beyond language and platform. This is why catalyst is a more accurate word than support. Support implies something secondary. A catalyst implies acceleration. The same elements might have existed independently, but together they react faster and burn brighter. For a rising actor, this can be decisive. It can turn recognition into attachment, and attachment into loyalty. The deeper point is that collaboration is not a threat to individual greatness. It is one of the ways greatness becomes legible to the public. In entertainment, the audience doesn't fall in love with resumes. They fall in love with moments. Pairings that multiply impact are those rare moments where two paths align just long enough to change what the world sees, and how quickly it sees it. Here is a more layered way to understand why this topic resurfaces through Japanese media rather than through local commentary alone. Japan often functions as an international mirror for Asian entertainment. It reflects the story back with a different emotional temperature, different cultural priorities, and a different language of legitimacy. When Japanese audiences and commentators revisit a collaboration, they are not merely repeating fandom nostalgia. They are quietly asking what the collaboration meant in the broader cultural record. A mirror does not invent the face. It reveals details you may have stopped noticing. In this theory, Japan's renewed attention highlights how cross-border fandoms preserve eras more carefully than domestic cycles do. Local discourse moves quickly, shaped by new projects and new headlines. International audiences, however, tend to hold on to defining works because those works were their entry point. They remember how they first encountered these actors, what the collaboration represented, and why it felt unique at the time. So when Japanese media revisits the story, it can shift the conversation from rumor to legacy. Not because it confirms private matters, but because it elevates the artistic and cultural significance of that period. It reminds people that public images are not built only by solo performances, but by shared narratives that travel across countries and settle into collective memory. The emotional weight comes from this. International mirrors make the past feel present again. They don't force anyone to live in it, but they make it harder to dismiss. They suggest that what happened then still matters now, not as gossip, but as a chapter in how modern Asian stardom is constructed and remembered. If Japanese media is revisiting this topic, it isn't necessarily to create drama. It may be because, from an outsider's view, this partnership represents a rare entertainment truth. Success is often built from a combination of talent, timing, opportunity, and the people who walk alongside you, if only for a season. Not dependence, not rivalry, just history with impact. If you enjoyed this breakdown and you want more respectful, story-driven updates on Asian entertainment, make sure to subscribe to Star Watch now. Thank you for watching and for keeping the conversation thoughtful. Turn on notifications so you don't miss our next upload, and I'll see you in the next video.